Okay, so here I'm just having a quick heads up match with Dentifrice, and you'll notice that most of my videos are heads up since that's the format that I like the most. I'm just going to go ahead and limp on 4-8 offsuit, and he's raised, so I'm just going to get away from that. He raised really fast, so I'm already automatically under the assumption that this is a pretty loose player, but then again he has just folded his big blind, so that's sort of confused me a bit. I'm just going to fold that garbage hand since I'm not quite sure what kind of player he is. So I want to decide what kind of player he is before I start making any moves. And he's just folded the big blind again, so he might be a tight player and he just happened to have a hand on that first one. So I'm going to go raise up ace 9 suited, see what he does. He's taking his time and he's called. I don't think he has much. I'm going to go ahead and do my standard continuation bet of about half the pot. See if that moves him off his hand. It doesn't. So I'm just going to check it down unless I improve. I've got an open-ended straight draw now, but I'd rather just water it. Yeah, I don't think I'm ahead in this, so I'm just going to cut my losses on that. I could have pushed on the turn, but I felt he was going to call, so I'd rather get a free card. I've got an ace, so I'm going to call that. Any ace is a powerful hand. He's raised pre-flop, so I'm going to let him do the aggression. And there are quite a few draws out there, so I'm just going to pull in the money right here. Since I think this is quite a loose player, and that just takes the pot. It's a lot better to take the pot right there on the flop with a re-raise than give them a chance to draw out on you. That's a thing I'm very much a fan of. I would rather re-raise unless I was fairly sure that I couldn't get drawn out on. So I'll slow play my monsters or the occasional hand, but generally I'll just go ahead and bet. Here I'm just going to check and see what he does. On this hand I can't really get drawn out on. There's not much that would devalue my hand. If he had a flush draw he would have probably betted it. Yeah, I'm fairly sure I'm ahead in this hand still. Yeah, I just take the pot. But there's two elements to running lucky. I have to hit my good hands and he has to have a callable hand as well. So it doesn't look like I had that. I'm just going to min raise on these pockets here. Yeah, it's a very good board for some pockets. So I'm just going to go ahead and bet that out, unless he's got a 5 or a 7. I don't think he has. Yeah, he's pretty much confirming that when he puts his money in, he's got something. So I'm just going to take a lot of stabs at pots and just try and eat away at his blinds a bit in this game. Anyway, I've got an open-ended straight draw, so I'm just going to go ahead and bet out, and I take it down right there. Like I said, I want to push him off his hands on the flop because he doesn't like calling without a pair, it seems. I've got aces, so I'm going to raise that up. Hopefully he'll call. Yeah, he does. That's a pretty safe looking board, so I'm just going to bet half the pot. If he's got any sort of pair, he'll call. Yeah, he's calling, so I'm hoping he just has some sort of top pair or something along those lines. But no, he doesn't. He folds. He might have had so that might mean he had something like a 4 or a 7, and he might have gotten scared off by all the overcards. I'm not quite sure. You can't really tell without looking. What, Jack Ace? He won't call on a weaker hand, so I'm just going to see what he does. Yeah. Yeah, I need a 10 still. I'm not liking this board, so if he's got any piece of this he has us beat. Might be a bluff, but it's 2/3 of the pot. It's just, I don't feel I'm ahead of his hand range, and just the texture of that flop, it felt like the sort of hands he had would have hit it. So yeah, I've got an ace, I'm just going to min bet it. I'll take the blinds again. With tight players like this, it's all about just attacking the blinds. But notice I'm only doing it when I'm on the button. You don't want to attack the blinds when you're out of position. I've got a pair, so that's probably the best hand. He's calling, so I'm just going to shut it down. There's nothing he has been calling on that I have beat, I don't think. So I'm just going to give him credit for a hand there. He could have had a draw, but he bet pretty fast, so I think he had something. I'm just going to keep free betting on the button. He likes to see flops, I think, but he doesn't like going beyond the flop very often. So here, I'm just going to pump it up to half the pot. I'm just going to raise him up, see what he does. Yes, I was right. I felt like he was just taking a stab at that, and I was right. So he does bluff, but most of the time I still think it's honest, so I'm going to limit that. That was just more of a message of don't bluff me. Yeah, I've got spades flop here, I'm just going to bet out. I've got a spade, but yeah. I'm just going to see what he's got. I've got a pair. And the board's paired. I'm just going to see what he's got. He had the goods that time. I just wanted to see, in the interest of metagame, what his betting was. But yeah, that's just pretty much confirmed. He's betting when he has the hands, so I'm going to go back to not responding to his bets very often and just eating at his blinds. That's how I'm going to beat this player. That's my game plan. 2-4, even if it is a loose play, you just can't play a hand like that. Just too weak. Yeah, we've got an ace-king, which is the sort of hand I can raise out of position. He's raising me up, so I'm going to try and free bet it. I just want to end the pot right here. But it's called. I've hit an ace, so I'm going to see if he'll bet for me. If he does, I'm just going to push all in. Yeah, he's 8k into a 40k pot. I'm just going to pump this up right here. Hopefully he might have a weaker ace. Yeah, if he's got ace 9 or something like that, we're in trouble. Oh, and that's nasty. That is very nasty. I felt he had an ace, but I didn't realise he had that. But ace king on that flop, I just had no choice. I had to go all in on that. That was just unfortunate. So I'm just gonna stick to the game plan and yeah, just carry on like that. I'll flop to gut shot straight draw, so I'm just gonna call that for 2k. See what develops. Board's paired, that might scare him off. I'm just gonna bet out, see what he does. Nah, he is not buying it. So I'm just gonna shut it down here. I don't want to lose too much on the bluffs. Yeah, he had the jack. If he didn't have a hand, if he liked the texture of the board on the turn, he was gonna like it on the river, so I didn't feel that a bet on the river would have taken it. If he was in his mind to call, then he was gonna call. Fold those garbage hands. Yeah, I've got Queen Jack suited. I'll raise that up out of position. Yeah, he doesn't like folding once he's called. it seems, and I've flopped a mid-pair, so I'm going to keep on betting. Just bet small amounts, see if I can make him call, because I think I have this. An ace has come on the river, so that makes it less likely that he has that ace. And there you go, he folded. He might have been on some sort of draw, like a club draw. Or, I don't know if he'd chase a gut shot or not, but anyway, I've got aces again, so I'm going to raise that up. And he folds. That's the problem with aces, heads up. The odds of him having a hand at the same time are pretty small. So most of the time they just end up folding. 3-7, I'm just going to check that down. Yeah, fold to that overbet. 9 ace, I'll raise that on the button. He calls. He doesn't like laying his hands down, it seems. I'm just going to pump it up to half the pot. See if my ace high will take it down. I don't want to give him a chance to bluff me on the turn if he's missed. Most of the time he will miss, so yeah, just take that down. Seems just raised for value pre-flop, and he seems to have quite a wide pre-flop range to call me with out of position. So we've got that information that he's quite loose pre-flop. He's calling a lot of things that he shouldn't. Now I'm going to exploit that into getting my money back. And he's not going to fold if he's got a club, so there's not much point betting. I'll just give him it. He's probably got a club. Even if he doesn't, our king high is unlikely to be best, and it's just, you just can't try and buy that pot. Again, I'm just going to keep folding my garbage hands and raise up my decent ones since he likes to call. So he's quite a loose passive player pre-flop, but then he becomes more tight passive as the game progresses into the flop and the turn. So that's pretty much my player profile for this person. He's loose passive pre-flop, tight passive post-flop. Paired board, I'm going to try and steal that. He might call once, but if he does call out, yeah. If he did call on a high card, I might have tried to steal that on the turn with a 4k bet. Oh, deuces. I'm going to raise that up. Yeah, like I said, paired board, I'm going to bet out. Like I said, he's calling anything pre-flop. Ooh. Oh, this is the problem with deuces. You're in no man's land here, but he's probably got a king. But even if he doesn't, I can't go over the top of that bet. I just can't do it. Jack 3, I'll call. Yeah, he hasn't been raising very often. He's been very passive, so I give him credit on most of his raises. But I'm well aware that he does have the ability to bluff every so often. He has been taking a few stabs, which is quite a good approach, really. So that is the whole point of bluffs, to put an element of uncertainty into your opponent. And here I've got king high. This is more betting for value than anything. I think my king high, as all these fives are, my king high is probably good. And yeah, I'm just going to call him down. See what he does. Yeah, I was right, he just happened to spike a jack on the river. Again, I'm just getting some unlucky cards here, but that was the right call. I thought my king high was good, and it was. But the river card didn't cooperate with me. Like I said, you can't judge the quality of a play by the result. The long run, that will earn me my chips, so yeah, I'm just going to fold to his re-raise. He's He's bluffing me every so often, I think. Oh, what an ace, I'm going to raise that. My ace is probably ahead, so I'm going to call. There's no reason to bet out, but the odds of him having a 10 are pretty low, so you can treat this like a pair. See what he does on it. Let's just call it down. Now we happen to have kings. Yeah, we're just getting some bad cards here, but I didn't feel he had it. Yeah. Yeah, I should have probably folded that on the turn after he bet it again, but ace high there was quite a strong hand. I didn't want to give it up that easily after we'd been taking a lot of stabs at pots. I'll just have to rebuy again. I'm about 160k down. But I'm just calm and relaxed. If you're the sort that's going to start tilting after losing money, you should just go away. There you go, I've got nines and he's just, like I said, if he gets an idea into his head, he likes to stick with it. I'm just going to keep pushing on my nines. Yeah, he's called twice. Oh, I've just spiked a set on the below. Now, unless he's backed into a straight, which is extremely unlikely, I probably just rivered him. No, he just called on an overpair on the flop. So he turned me and I rivered him back. And there you go, I've just gotten by all my money. And he just complains about luck. I don't think he's been paying attention to the 3 hands that he's gotten lucky against me with. And I just raise on this suited hand. See what happens. Oh, I've missed this. I don't want a continuation bet the flop all the time. I think I'm developing a bit too much of a pattern, so I'm going to check this down. I'm just going to check. Queen 5, I just call that. I think he might be loosening up a bit, so I just want to make sure I do some bets with value hands a bit more. Yeah, he's going, or he might be going back to folding. I want to assess what his mental state is at the moment, but I'm just chatting with him and he seems quite calm, so he's nowhere near tilting or anything like that. When you're in a situation like this, a good idea is to just start talking with the person. If they're the sort that goes, oh my god, you sucked out on me, and get really aggressive towards you, that is a really good tell about the kind of player they are. Because those kind of players tend to be the loose ones that start tilting. But this guy, he's staying very calm. He made a lucky comment, but he did it in a very calm way, so I'm going under the assumption that he's still quite relaxed and I'm probably playing the same person I was before. And all his actions are backing that up. Then I'm just going to pump in half the pot here on my pockets. Cool, so I'm just going to shut that down. There's tons of overcards on this board. I do have a spade, but if he bets, could be a bluff, but with 4 overcards and 3 of them being face cards as a straight on the board, there's the possibility for someone to hit a higher flush against me. Yeah, that's a hand you want to get away from. I don't want to put money in on that hand. No, just got 8 high, I'm just going to check it down. He doesn't have anything, but like I said, you don't want to stab at these pots every single time. It's just going to create patterns. Oh, I actually had the best hand. But I don't want to create a pattern for him to pick up on, because if I try to stab at every single pot, he's just going to check and re-raise me constantly. And it's just going to pick up so many tells, so I'm just going to try and minimise it. I want to take my stabs at pots, but I don't want to do it constantly. I've just got to get 32k to get back to being even. Queen ace, I'll raise that. Notice I don't raise a different amount based on my hand strength, unless I've just slipped the slider a bit differently. I will raise the exact same amount on my pocket aces as I have on my Jack 7 suited. Occasionally I'll do a min bet, but I'll just min bet this. But you don't want to raise proportionately to hand strength, because that's just a huge tell, and they can pick up so much information if you start doing that. So bet the same amount on each hand. Yeah, he's started tightening up again now, so I might do a few stabs. I know if he does come out betting that he probably does have something. It's not folding all this to just take a stab on nothing. Like I said here, I could have taken a stab, but I don't want to create tells. I've got a club, I just want to see. If I hit a flush, I might have the best hand here. Nah, he's got it, I'm going to give him credit for that. If he didn't have something, he might have checked the river, but this is the problem with poker. I don't have enough information to base my decisions on. I've got no idea if that was him making a bluff at the right time or genuinely having a hand. Yeah, on this one I'm gonna take a stab at this. Oh, I should have probably just bet about 2k there. That was a bad bet. Bad bet there. He would have only called on something that had me beat, so I can be pretty sure that he does. I just want to call to show you that. No, he called on a 4, which is a very bad thing to value bet the river on. I just wanted to show you the cards for the purpose of the video. Generally I would have folded there if I wasn't making a video. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and pick up this pot. If he doesn't have a pair, hopefully he'll fold. No, he doesn't. So I'm gonna check it down. I have picked up a gut shot draw, however. So if I river a 2, I could still take this. No, I haven't. See what he does. Yeah, he's betting out again. He is taking quite a lot of stabs at pots. Sooner or later, he's going to do it in the wrong spot and feed me some money. As he's not betting this often on top quality hands. He's got to be at least doing this on some bottom pairs or something along those lines. I've picked up a gut shot. I'll call that. See if I can spike a 6. No, I don't. So he bets keep betting 2k and then 8k, which is a very strange amount. If he bets 2k on the turn, he should be betting 4k on the river, really. I've got pocket jack, so I'm going to raise this a couple of big blinds, and he folds. Like I said with the pocket aces, if I've picked up a hand like 2 jacks, statistical probabilities will put him on a bad hand. So if I pick up an amazingly strong hand, more than likely he's going to have a junk hand, so don't get yourself stressed out over it. He's taking his time on this one for some reason. Just checked. Okay, I'm going to take a stab at this because he's been pushing me around too much. And there, I take that down. The one who normally wins in these head-up matches is the aggressor, so there we go, King Queen, which is a very good reason to become the aggressor again. And he's just handing over my blinds. Now, when you're out of position, just taking down the blinds is a pretty good outcome. Min bet that. See, he has no concept of position whatsoever, it seems. I've seen him make these 6k bets before, so I'm going to re-raise him, see what he does. He's called. But yeah, I've seen him do that before on overcard, so unless he bets this turn, I might take another stab. I'm going to have to give him credit for it. I took my shot, and it's right before, but it didn't work that time. So I'm just going to try and get a raise cheap as I can from that bluff. I'm just going to bet this one out. Half the time it just really feels like he's betting out on nothing. And so I just want to start re-raising him a bit. But I just can't see what he's doing this on. I just want to see what he does. He's got it. See, he's just done that on the 10 of diamonds, which is a fairly mediocre hand, really. If he gets some sort of hand, he just likes to push it. So as soon as I get something to exploit that, I will, but I can't seem to at the moment. I'm fairly card dead. I'm not getting any setups. I've not had a single hand where he's hit at the same time. There you go. Oh, and this is a nice one. Let's see if he'll call this, or if it's a stab. Here we go, we've got him now. This is a setup. Oh, that was a bad turn card for us. Very bad turn card. I'm going to check this down and prepare to call the river. He might have just... if he had a 10 with a better kicker, he's just turned us. Yeah, that's exactly what he did. I'm just getting a lot of bad luck hands here, but that's pretty much reinforced what I thought. If he has any sort of hand, he doesn't like laying it down. But every time he just seems to get lucky at the moment. But fear not, it won't last forever. So I'm just going to sit back and be patient, and sooner or later I'm going to get another hand like that one, and I'll be able to shove my money into the pot and take my money back. I've got a 9, I'm going to bet that out. And he folds. I'm still not quite sure what his criteria for calling is. He likes to call over cards, it seems, but I don't know. I'm just going to switch up my game now. I'm just going to start value betting relentlessly with the amount he's calling. And I've picked up an ace, I'm just going to bet it out. A mediocre ace, he might be calling on a 10. There's plenty of hands I can extract value from, so I'm just going to keep betting. And there you go. He keeps calling the flop bets and folding to turn bets when I've hit a lot. But I've not got any information on what he's doing it on. I'm just going to keep betting out any decent cards in position he's going to call. So yeah, this hand, there's nothing worse than my hand that he'll fold, so I'm going to give him credit for that one. That was a very bad flop for me. I'm just not going to try it. Do 7. Just check fold that hand. Just wish he'd hurry up a bit more. 5 had a bad hand. It pretty much works the opposite. Like I said, when I have aces, he probably has a bad hand. If I have a bad hand, he probably got some of the good cards. I've got a bull and pair, so I don't think he has a 4 or an 8 in his hand. I'm just going to min bet him, see if it'll make him call. It probably called on overcards, I think. Yeah, there you go. He's got his overcards. That is definitely one of his criteria. If he has 2 high cards, he likes to call. Jack 5 suited. I'm going to raise it up, and I'll take that down. And just keep pushing because he likes to call. I've hit a jack, so I'm going to bet. Yeah, he's just handing over his money a bit now. He does like to get away from these flops if he misses, though. If there's a high flop and he has no pair, it's an automatic fold for him. Yeah, 4-9. That's an overbet. I can't do anything about that. He probably had a 3 or a king if he's betting that much. Either way, even if he didn't, he had me beat. Yeah, I got an ace, so I'm just going to keep pushing because he keeps calling. He's just calling any crap cards. He's called that flop. Let's see if I can pick something up. I can't. I'm going to try and bet again, see if I can pick it up. But I don't. I'm just going to check that down. I've picked up a pair on the river, so I can call a small bet perhaps. But I think he has a jack or a queen. I might as well call down and just see. Oh, he doesn't. Wow. He just called me down all the way on ace high. But I picked up a pair, so I was getting good enough pot odds there. That was quite an amazing hand. I didn't think he was doing that, but like I said, I felt he was taking quite a lot of stabs at pots, and that was an example of them, and I caught him out on that one. And jack, I was going to raise that, but he's just folded it to me. Now, a classic case of player psychology is because he's just made that big bluff and gotten called out on it, the next time he does it will probably be genuine. That's one thing I find with these weaker poker players, is if they take a bad beat, they generally turn tight and become honest. So I'm just going to keep exploiting that until he hits a hand, and there you go, he's called this one, so I'm going to check it down. Yeah, I'm going to give him that one. Come on, I've just got to get him down another 80k. 8-2, that's just garbage. I'm just going to give him my blind on that. It's not worth investing on. 8-4, I'll just check. He keeps overbetting these pots, I don't know what that means. But he did it really fast. So it might be I'm just going to call on turn 5 because I think he's got high cards, so I've got quite a good read on him. Yeah, he's got high cards, but he was going to call anyway, so... Or he might have had pockets, I've seen him do that before. I don't want to put my money in on that to try and bluff him off it. I've got jacks. I'm just going to call this one, see what he does. As my aim is to let him spike a pair on the flop. And that's probably my best way to extract some money, but no, it didn't work. My aim was to let him say spike a top pair that was less than my jacks. I could have gotten some money out of him, but it didn't work. He just completely missed the flop and folded. Oh, ace 5, I'll raise. No call. Yeah, that's a good flop for us. Very unlikely he has a 2 or a 3. But he likes to call on overcards. I'm just going to bet it down, not because I think my hand isn't best, but I don't want the pot to get too big. And I've just picked up an ace. He's bet out 8k. I could re-raise here, but if he re-raises me back, I don't want to get into a huge pot, so I'm just going to call it down in case he has something. He had the same hand as me. So if I raised him 10k and he went over the top of me, I'd have had to lay it down, and that's not something I wanted to do, so I just elected to call. So you know, he could have had a stronger ace or 2, and yeah, there was just nothing I could extract value out of. Here's a flush draw, so I've got to bet this strong. I'll bet about 2/3 of the pot. If he's got a heart, I want him off it, so I'm going to re-raise. There you go, he's folded the hand. On a board like that, I don't want to let him see any cards. Just keep checking. I just need one nice hand and I'll just get all that money back that I lost. At the moment we're just sort of going back and forth a bit here. I'm just going to check this one. I'm going to call because I've got the jack of spades. I'm going to give him the chance to try and bluff at it, and he does. Yeah, there you go. That's what I wanted him to do. He's demonstrated that he will bet when he shouldn't, and that was one of the spots. I've got jacks yet again. I'm going to raise it this time. See what he does. He scored this time. Oops. There's one overcard. I'm just gonna call it down. I don't want the pot to get too big. He's doing small bets, so it's quite easy for me to call. There's another queen's just hit the board. So if he bets the river, yeah, it's a cheap bet. There you go, he just bet it out on a 2, and I've just taken a good healthy chunk of his stack on that hand. A few more hands like that and I'll have the money back. Notice, because he just had a pair of 2s, I extracted a lot more money on that hand than I would if I re-raised. I think that's the classic sort of hand that he would have laid down to re-raise. So I've not only gained 40k on the hand, I've also gained a lot of information. Let's call that down. Yeah, you just bet it out on a 5. bit here, 5-4. I've flopped an open-ended. I've got an open-ended draw, but any 8 puts a 4-card straight with a 9, so the top end is fairly useless for me. It would only give me the dumb end. What, ace-king again, which has proven to be rather unlucky for me, but I'm going to test my luck again. Just see if I can pick this up. Yeah, and it does. Looks like I didn't get set up on ace-king that time. 8-5, I'll just call that. I've got nothing, I'm just going to fold. He doesn't make those stabs often enough for it to hurt us. I think I've made up my mind that he does most of his stabs on either ace high or a low pair. So he's not doing it on any random hands. He's probably got something like a pair of 3s or something in those sort of hand ranges. I've got king high, I'm going to bet. And calls. I don't know what he's calling on, that's what's frustrating me. I'm just going to see if I can pick this one up with a re-raise, and I can't. So I'm just going to give up on this hand. Yeah, he bets that. I'm just starting to get a bit frustrated here because I don't know what he's raising me off, as I just feel like he's making a lot of bluffs against me. I'm just getting a bit overly eager to get a hand to punish him for that, like I did with the jacks. And this is the sort of hand I can do it with. I've got a nice ace. I've just flopped nothing. Hopefully I can hit an ace or a 10. But he's betting out on a lot of things, so I just want to call him down and not immediately give him credit, because he's given me really good odds to call. Yeah, we had a king that time. You can't fold if you're getting 3-1 on your money. I'm going to give him credit for that. Just one good hand. I'm just going to sit here and keep saying that to myself. Just one good hand. That's all I need. Just one time. No. Oh. See, that just hurts. That hurts. I've had aces and jacks so many times. I just can't get any action on them. Oh, an ace here. I'm going to bet the flop, and I'm going to check the turn. Oh. No, he didn't do it. I was going to check the turn to try and induce him into betting, but it didn't work. So I feel like my turn checks are inducing a lot of things from him, so I've got an open-ended, sorry, a gut shot here and a flush draw, which has turned into an open-ended, so I'm going to bet this quite strongly. He's calling. I've hit my flush. So the decision here is, do I want to check or do I want to give him the chance to bet? I think he was either drawing or he has a hand, so I'm going to elect to bet at this. He either has a pair that he wants to call or he had a draw. Yeah. Oh. I call my flush. That's nasty. Very, very nasty. The luck is not swinging my way. checking down. It's important to just stay calm and not tilt off any po. 7-6, I'll raise. Okay, binds. Just take a stab at this. Yep. Here we have jacks yet again. And he's raised me, so I'm going to push and re-raise him back. Hope no overcards hit. Oh, that is a perfect flop. I'm going to let him drive the action here. I think he has overcards, so I want to try and see if I can let him hit a card. Or bluff at it. I'm just going to min raise. I want to build the pot, but I want to keep him in. He doesn't. I just can't seem to hit at the same time as this guy. And he's just cashed out. So I guess that's it for this video.